Locked in the black cells, the adventurers could only tell the passage of time by the burning out of the lanterns on the wall.
What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Craft Lair. I am the Crafter. This is the lair. Got a really exciting build coming up today. Something that's taken me a few tries to print out and get correct, but I think I've finally done it. These are sconces that will work on walls. You can kind of clip these onto your walls. Personally, I've sized these to work with my dirt cheap dungeon walls. That's a modular set of walls that you can get as like a third-party accessory, and these should plop right down over those walls. It uses a modified tea light. It's wired through this, and it can turn on just like that. I printed out a number of these. I think I have about 8 different wall sconces, so these can be scattered throughout your dungeon and give a really great immersive feel to everything. I think I'm going to be able to get a lot of use out of these. I can't wait that I finally got these done and printed correct. The first few times I tried it, I had all sorts of sizing problems getting the wire through and around these bends and things like that. They're not quite perfect, but you know what? They'll get the job done, and I'm really proud of them. So stick around. If you're interested in this, check out the link in the description. Go down to my mini factory and download these. You can print them out at home and give it a try yourself. I'm going to be giving away STL files as often as possible, putting up build videos as often as possible. So if you like this type of content, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. That stuff really keeps you motivated to keep on making videos.
Welcome back to the Craft Lair. I know it's been a while, but thanks for your patience. I'm really excited to bring this build to you guys. Looking at the 3D model here, you can see the tea light base where we'll put the modified tea light into, this little kind of wiring harness as I'm calling it, or the clip that will clip onto the wall, a down section for the wire to run down, and then the torch holder column itself, as well as a glowing flame cap. So getting started with this, pretty simple stuff, just priming everything black, making sure I have everything out and arranged properly and no missing pieces, all that. To modify the tea light, all you're going to do is just remove that little shroud by unscrewing the screw in the back and kind of like prying that off. Using my clippers, I'll also get rid of some of the extraneous plastic just to kind of save some space inside the tea light base. Doing a quick wiring test here, I gotta say, this process of building this thing was very difficult. I went through maybe 4 to 5 different remodels in the 3D modeling process, and it was fun, but God, it kind of just wore on my nerves. I had all sorts of spacing issues, things were just too small. It was really kind of a nightmare, but again, just kind of running the wire through this. I'd run it through the tea light base, into the wiring harness, down that kind of like down stem and up into the torch arm, and that's when I solder on the LED. The LED has 2 leads on it. The longer one is going to be your positive, and the shorter one is your negative. And using this 22 AWG speaker wire that I got on Amazon, I'll link it in the description, I just run that right up through and solder those respective ends to the LED and solder them also to the LED base. Now I'm actually using the same LED that came with these tea lights. The LEDs themselves are what flicker, so I wanted to preserve that, and I don't actually have any flickering LEDs, so when I trimmed off the LED, I was just sure to keep that aside and try to trim it off in a way that the positive lead was still a little longer and the negative lead was shorter. That way I knew what was kind of going on and how to wire it up when I put it together. Going through with some super glue, putting it all together, using some baking soda as a super glue accelerant. This stuff works okay. It looks a little blobby. It's not entirely perfect. I have been meaning to get some kind of spray super glue accelerant, which they sell, but in the meantime, this baking soda will help the super glue dry fast, and it acts as like a weld, but that being said, it leaves kind of like a weld mark behind. It was a little tricky getting it all on there. Some of the parts wanted to wander off, but eventually they're able to stick on here, and the whole thing is pretty strong. Now, in the 3D file, I actually included a clip that could work for the Dirt Cheap Dungeons walls, which is what I use. They're about 1 3/4 inches tall, and they're only maybe 1/8 of an inch wide, so they're very small. This clip here, I want to say, was just over a 1/4 of an inch in size to account for the wire and have that all fit. I also included a wiring harness in the STL pack that is larger, so if you wanted to use like this on some XPS walls, if you need to adjust the size from that, you might be able to do that in your 3D slicing program by stretching the object in the, whatever it is, the X or Y direction, and you can get a little more space for your clip to go over whatever thickness wall you're using. Going through this, airbrushing, priming, just trying to not get any primer on the LED light. I didn't tape these up because I wasn't too worried about it. I also included a plastic ring that I printed out. These plastic rings do an okay job of concealing the outside. It's not perfect, but it's better than showing all of that hot glue and stuff on the inside. Taking my fine detail brush and just going through and painting all of the details on the torch head, like the metal grate surrounding the flame, and I'm also putting on the 3D printed flame cap. Now these wall sconces actually fit the original kind of cap that goes onto the original tea light, but the flame cap that came with the light, it was very tall. It just didn't look great, so I went in and 3D modeled these little plastic ones that I 3D printed out, and using some clear resin, you're able to get the light to pass right through that, and it looks like a reasonably realistic kind of glowing flame there to kind of conceal and diffuse the LED light. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Honestly, I wish I could say I had a lot of fun making these. I had a lot of fun finishing them, finally, but I couldn't be more happy with the results. I'm really excited to get these in front of my players, whenever that might be. It's probably going to be another long while with this quarantine, but we're making do. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. That stuff really keeps me motivated to keep making videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.